Hi, kiddo. I'm Grandma Goodie, and I'm here to tell you a Bible story, but you caught me coloring a picture. Do you like to color a picture? Do you know why people like to make things? Do you like to make things? I mean, maybe you like to draw a picture or color, or some kiddos like to make things out of these little building blocks here or Legos. Like this one said it was to make a tree. Does that look like a tree to you? Well, I guess so. I guess that could look like little leaves. And then this one's you could put a little flower on there and make a little flower. And some folks like to build stuff in a wood shop. And I've never met a person who doesn't like to create something. And you know why that is? God's a creator, and since we're made in the image of God, every person likes to create somehow. I think that's why I like to create things, and why you like to create things too, and why I never saw Bo or my kitty cat doing a cross stitch or any embroidery, because they're just animals. They're not creator types like us. The story I'm going to tell you today is happened long ago, back right near the very beginning of the world. In this story, we're going to look at how God created the first people. He created a man out of the earth, out of the dust of the ground. Now, I tried to make some clay and make it into a man, and it is not as easy as the Bible makes it sound. God made it sound really simple. He just made it out of the dust of the ground. He called that man Adam. And then it said that God breathed into him the breath of life. And so I have to imagine what that would be. I'm not God, but I imagine it was something like, I don't breathe right in there. And poof! Look, he became a living person. Some folks say he got a spirit or a soul. Some say, oh, he became a human being, but he came alive. See, I'm alive. He put Adam to live in a beautiful garden, and he called it the Garden of Eden. He was looking around this beautiful garden, and he saw all the delicious fruits on all the trees. It said that God made it beautiful, and all the fruits were delicious. Adam was living here in this beautiful garden, and he's there, and he looks around, and he sees right in the center of the garden 2 special trees. And God tells him, this here's the tree of life, and this here is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And so Adam, he's working in the garden. He likes gardening. I do too. This is my gardening hat. And he gives Adam a stern warning. Warning, Adam, you can eat from any tree or any fruit in the whole garden except for one. Do not eat the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because if you eat from it, you will surely die. Have you ever gotten a stern warning from your parents? You better not do that. If you run out in the street, you could get hit by a car and killed. Well, if your parents give you a stern warning, it's because they love you and they want to protect you and they don't want you to die. So God says, Adam, it's not good for you to be alone. Adam, why don't you name all the animals that I already made and see if you can find yourself a good companion. And so Adam's looking around, and this one come over, he says, okay, that's a panda bear, but that's not my companion. Oh, that's a little sheep. He's cute, but I don't think he's right for me. There's a leopard. I'm going to call him a leopard. He's got spots all over him, but he still didn't find anybody just right for him. God made Adam fall down into a deep sleep. And then God reached over in Adam's side, and he opened him up, and he took out a rib bone. Can you see that's a teeny tiny little bone? And if you feel yourself right there, you'll know you have a rib bone too. Those are the bones that protect your inside parts. And so God took part of the flesh and bone of that man, that first man, and God made a woman. God made this woman, and she was made of the same bones and flesh as the first man. And then he said, wake up, Adam, look who I brought for you. And so Adam woke up and he looks around, he says, oh, wow, look at that. She is now just right for me. She is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. And the Lord, see, he made two separate people, but they're both human beings. And then God brought them together, and the two were joined together by God. I think that's the very first wedding we ever had. And so the two became one. You might notice on most weddings, the bride's wearing a wedding dress. But for this story, Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, they were both naked and in front of God and each other, and they felt no shame. And the whole garden was at peace. All the animals got along, the birds and the flowers, Adam and Eve, everybody was in harmony. Let's just enjoy that for a moment and think about what the world would be like if the people were unified and at peace with the world and God, and all is well. Now let me show you where you can find this story in the Holy Bible. You want to look in the Old Testament, and the book is called Genesis, and the chapter is chapter 2, and the verses, that's the itty bitty numbers right inside that chapter there, is 7 to 25. The secret code is GEN, the number 2, and the 2 dots, and then 7 to 25. Now you remember, Grandma Goodie loves you, but God loves you more.